Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Good evening everybody, Militia Man and Crew here tonight. Just want to say I hope everybody had a good week. It's only Tuesday, but it's getting started. So let's see what happens with the rest of the week. We've had some things that we've been watching coming out of the news. And one of the things that, or many things that have happened actually is, there's things that the federal court did. They made some talk and some decisions. They've made those decisions and they've had to be asked questions recently about, well, what does that mean? And what they're talking about is implementation of procedures. For what? Salaries. We're going to see some stuff about the Finance Committee. Parliamentary Finance Committee has been talking about specific laws, and some of those laws include the tripartite budget 2023, 2024, and 2025 budget schedules. They talk about that. There's some talk about the oil distribution from the Siam port to Turkey, and they talk about that as well. So basically, what's on the agenda for the last couple of days has been the budget law, the budget schedules, and oil exports. So, as we know, all of those things are important. So this article here today is about the President of the Federal Court discusses with the delegation from the Kurdish blocs the decision regarding the salaries of the region's employees. It's a fairly long article, but as it's to the point, it's the Chief Justice of the Federal Supreme Court, Jasmine Mohammed Aboud. It says they discussed today, on Tuesday, the delegation from the Kurdish blocs were there, and they have talking about a decision related to the salaries of the region's employees. So come into patreon.com and see what this is all about. But the gentleman says the President of the Federal Supreme Court welcomed this visiting delegation and was appreciative of the legislative and oversight role of the Council of Representatives. So, they're getting kudos for being there and showing up and dealing with it. And this particular statement, they don't tell you depth of anything in the last couple of days, but today they're just reminding everybody the attendees discussed the decision of the federal court regarding the salaries of employees of the Kurdistan region, and that was number 2024, and it's unified 269 or 269 federal of 2023. So that's what that's the court ruling, if you will, and their decisions. And it says, what are they talking about? Accuracy of implementing its procedures regarding the decision and its justifications in a manner that serves the rights of the individuals. So they've already voted on most of this and the law, and they've made a decision, and now they're just going to be reiterating with those that need to know, and that's good. So basically they're talking about implementing the procedures to serve the rights of the citizens, and let's see what they do. So here's another article that's out. It's called The Kurdistan Finance Committee Delivers Employee Salary Schedule to the Federal Government. Okay, they say that it was submitted for the employees, their salary schedule for the month of November, so that the Federal Ministry of Finance has that. So that's all good. So the Federal Supreme Court had information today for those that were concerned on with what? Salaries and the implementations and procedures. So at this stage, there shouldn't be any questions anymore on what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it, and why and when. So let's see how they decide. Well, they already decided that you're supposed to do this, so get it done, right? So, Parliamentary Finance Committee warns of oil decline budget will witness changes, is another article that's out. And what are they talking about? It's the Parliamentary Finance Committee called on the government to expedite sending the 2025 budget schedule. Remember, the 2023-2024 final accounts and all subsequent ones that date back many years would be a part of that. It says, Jamal Cougar stressed at a press statement today the need to send that 2025 budget quickly to implement the remaining projects from the 2023 and 2024 budgets. So we know that there's investment monies that need to be talked about and taken care of. And we also know that those 23-24 final accounts need to be done prior to the 2025. And we believe that the 2024 is the key to the investment side, where they have to open the budget and spend money. The budget schedules will witness changes that include adding new items or modifying numbers due to the implementation of some previous obligations. He goes on and explains the Parliament approved the mechanism for dispersing the three-year budget, which ensures the continuation of operational spending according to the 112 system, while work on investment projects for the years 2023 and 2024 will continue during the next year. So again, we're still on track to see how these guys roll this out. The Parliamentary Finance Committee holds a meeting to discuss the first draft of the amendment budget law. And all they give to us today is that the Parliamentary Finance Committee held a meeting today to discuss the draft law for the First Amendment to the Federal General Budget Law for the fiscal year, the tripartite budget, number 13. And so they go into that today. It's interesting that they started off with the number 13, but they also going to come back in a little while. We're going to find that they talk about the 2012, I believe. But here's another article. It says the Finance Committee reveals broad outlines of amending the budget law. So they have a broad scope, I guess. It says during its meeting, the draft law of the First Amendment to the Federal General Budget Law for the years 23, number 13, is still in play, pointing to the formation of a body to estimate and monitor the distribution of revenues. So the distribution of revenues, we already know that the operational side is, they already said, the 112 is automatic, okay? But the investment side, that's what we're talking about, I hope. And it looks to be for the distribution of revenues in order to achieve sustainable development. The investment side of the equation is the development budget. That's going to create jobs. That's the private sector. See where we're going? These guys are telling us quite pointedly that they are working on it, and they're probably keeping it close to the chest, I think. That's where I see. So this goes on to say the Finance Committee discussed articles related to the draft law, and it goes regarding the mechanism for exporting oil. So that's another component of it. The region, or in the region, which is the Kurdistan region, and monitoring production costs. We talked about that. They went from, I think, $20 for cost to $16. I think that's what they're talking about. That needs to be done, or it could have already been done, where the necessity of maturing the law to meet the requirements was emphasized with the need to collect detailed data in numbers and tables to achieve the goal of the appropriate amendment. Well, the budget tables, 2023, 2024, need to be final accounts audited, ready to go for the 2025. So anyway, they tell you, and they reiterate it, June of last year, our Iraq Parliament voted on the draft general budget law for those fiscal years of 23, 24, and 25. So nothing's changed there. Basically, they're just looking for results. And the federal court was giving them the instructions on the procedures for implementation. I think it's pretty powerful. I think you guys should really enjoy that and know that. And here another one is, it says that parliamentary finance, because it's been delayed in the past, right? They're not a delay now, but just they have a delay. It says the budget delay in the schedules did not affect the projects. So in other words, they know that this is happening. They're just they're working through it like they know that they're going to get through it. The Finance Committee is following up on this issue seriously, and 2 weeks ago, in the past, hosted some of the figures concerned with this matter, and they basically stressed that delaying the schedules then would not affect the progress of the operational or the investment budget as the government continues to finance important and necessary allocations. And it says, he points out specifically, the delay will not affect the general procedures of the state. So that keeps moving forward. And here's the Barzanis, for instance, resuming the Kurdistan oil exports. That's part of the laws that we just talked about. It says, resuming Kurdistan oil exports awaits parliamentary approval. So did they have that today? They could have. or they could have. We haven't. They're just being they're being kind of mum's the word, quiet about it. It says that they want to reiterate this, is that Iraq is losing billions a month due to the halt in resuming the export of the region's oil. And they're stressing the need for Parliament to vote on the government project that allows the export of Kurdish oil or to move to complete the 2025 budget schedules. That is very key because we know that they need to have the 24 and the 23 and 24 on the table prior to 2025, and that's why we haven't probably seen the 2024 amendments yet exposed and opened for spending. But they also state that the oil companies refuse to amend the oil production cost contracts, but the dialogues with the region and the oil companies to reach a solution according to legal paths, but they are expecting reaching a solution during this current year. I think that's an add-in because, to be honest with you, they just say stuff sometimes that just want you to keep you on your back foot. But I think that the where they're located in this process right now is finalizing things, because you can see by their actions that they're going forward. They're moving forward with projects. They're moving forward with electronic systems. They're doing all those things. So yeah, just take it in the good, throw out the bad. And I think that last bit was, I needed to mention it because that's what's in the article. You guys can come in and read that yourself. You decide. Central Bank of Iraq, for instance, today discusses financial risk management in Erbil. Risk management is kind of interesting, everybody, but risk management is about their new system. They're going to be really going to need to pay attention to what they do for their lending, for their interest rates, for monetary policy. And so anyway, the Central Bank of Iraq at the Erbil branch organized a workshop entitled Financial Risk Management, and 3 types of issues they have is liquidity, credit, and markets. And what they were doing, and they were doing this in cooperation with the risk management department of the central bank. The attendees discussed the knowledge of financial risks, their concept in addition to the procedures of identifying risks, as well as the concept of risks in financial thinking, in the response to that thinking, analysis involved in that, and how to control it. Okay, it's worth noting that the concept of risks is concerned with many aspects of the financial sector, most notably, they go on to keep saying, notably liquidity, the market and credit risks, interest rate fluctuations, currency exchange rate fluctuations. That's a pretty big component of that. Adherence to the determinants of financial risk management helps protect the institution from negative financial results, and they can benefit from opportunities to achieve the financial goals. So anyway, they basically say this is a comprehensive assessment of risks, followed by the implementation of various strategies such as hedging, diversification, and the use of financial tools to mitigate potential losses and improve their financial performance. And that was the central bank, and that came from the media office today. But think about the timing of it. You know, they're talking about financial risks and stuff. They weren't really talking in that way when they were moving forward into an international world with the 1310. They're talking about preparedness for a change. That's how I would see it. And basically, what is this? There's an article out here that these guys are talking about. They're focusing in on their banking sector. And that's what the article starts with. It's noted these days that there's growing interest in the banking sector in general, both governmental and private sectors. We know that they were going to be merging state banks to go public, if you will, and also the private banks to be merged together to make them viable. And we all know that. It's noteworthy that the focus was on the restructuring process of the Rafidain Bank. That was a state bank, restructuring it. They go on many paragraphs, you guys. This is a long one, but hey, the results of this government movement represented by the interest in the private or in the government sector, and in parallel with that, the completion of the final touches to the lending strategy of its launch, which comes to correct the course of random, non-targeted loans This new strategy is relied upon to activate various important economic sectors represented by directing loans towards implementing projects with a strategic dimension that contribute to stimulating the economy and help in diversifying sources of income as a final product for banks and correcting the structural distortions in the economy and its transition from a rentier economy to a diversified economy. So in other words, talking about going from an oil economy to the private sector, a diversified economy. So this is the summary of the objectives behind the increasing government as they go on. Its interest, government interest is in the banking sector, and from here came the realization of the importance of that banking sector in achieving sustainable development, going into the private sector. In addition to the launch of the activity of the Riyadh Bank to support small projects within the objectives of providing job opportunities for unemployed youth, as well as providing some market requirements for goods, for commodities, for products, that will reduce import processes, that absorbs foreign currency. There's no doubt that launching the trading of the issuance of government bonds, they talked about that, government bonds, okay, involves achieving the same reform. It's going to help in development goals, falls within the government's interest in the banking sector, which will contribute to promoting, selling, and trading them. This is normal function for a smooth running economy. Okay, so ultimately, look, the banking sector, in my view, is looking to be in good shape for this next stage. I mean, that's what they're presenting here, that the central bank has worked, but they're preparing, saying, look, financial risks, liquidity risks, market risks, all of those things that we just mentioned. Okay. Interesting thing you guys have to realize is that banks have risk. And this is kind of a lead into something I'm going to bring up to you guys, is that the RLUSD is a stable coin. And why does it fit in with this? Iraq we've shown that they have a relationship with what they call XRP through the SBI Holdings Company and the Agora project with the Bank of International Settlements. Iraq's involved in all that. And doing digital transformation, as you well know, it's well documented that they're involved in this. The United States is doing it as well in certain ways. And so the RLUSD is going to be a stable coin whose value is going to be pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar. Okay, in contrast to other cryptocurrencies, which will often fluctuate, the RLUSD aims to provide a reliable price stability for its users. So again, what they're talking about here is stability, and that's what Iraq's been talking about, is sustainability and stability, and their environment for going to global has been a big focus, and a lot of people have been watching. And we just know that we had my last video, we talked about Al-Alaq. He's talking about having an anticipation, if you will, of a celebration, for instance. And one of the things that they were talking about is Iraq. Okay, that they're doing things that create all of these environments that you're seeing here tonight. He brings it up. He says, you know what, there's an international need for it. They told you almost a year or over a year ago about that Iraq would be the savior of the financial system and or bring confidence to the world. And so what they're doing is that they've done this digital transformation, and we're seeing them at the end of that transformation because of the things that he said. So anyway, I want to just real briefly say, what is the RLUSD? I put an article in Patreon today at patreon.com/MM&C-Iraq. Come in and check it out. And it says, and it's a little bit of information on why I'm doing it. I've brought up XRP. I brought up some other little smaller cryptocurrencies, but the RLUSD could very well be a very big component because it's going to bring some of the things that I'll mention. I'll just do it briefly, but it is in our room. You can check it out. You can do your own Google search and find out what it's all about and get your information, because that's what we do, is we bring information, and hopefully the information makes you think and makes you or helps you go through this process and helps you into the future. I'm not being a salesman here or anything like that. Just bring up the information because I think it's important for all of us to know, where are we headed? What are the new changes? And how far behind are we? So that's why I bring it in. This article is, what is RLUSD, the latest stablecoin for Ripple? It says here, stablecoin is a practical solution to overcome digital asset price volatility. Digital asset. Iraq's dinar is going to be a digital currency at some point in time. And as we know, that's where they're headed. So, okay. So Ripple introduces Ripple USD, which is call sign RULSD. It's a new stablecoin that promises stability, speed, efficiency, and cross-border transactions. Here's an explanation of what it is, okay? It says they have full support from cash reserves as well as blockchain technology. It is designed to simplify various aspects of digital payments, from remittances to trading. But what exactly is it? Well, stablecoin whose value is pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar, in contrast with other cryptocurrencies which often fluctuate, aims to provide reliable price stability for its users. And it says who created it? Well, of course, there were some people at Ripple Labs that did it. Jed McCaleb, Chris Larson. They did this before even Bitcoin appeared on the world stage. Something to think about. What are the advantages? They have a list of them. One of them is instant settlement. 2, low transactions fees. Deep liquidity. They have abundant ability to be able to move money. Okay, multi-chain issuance. So what they mean by that, it says issued on the XRP ledger and Ethereum networks, RLUSD provides flexibility in its across various blockchain systems. The systems are transparent. They have security. They have capabilities of cross-border transfers and remittances. Trade and settlement is a stable way to settle trades within the volatility aspects of the crypto world. Global service payments, global. You saw where we just talked about Iraq is global with international cross-border companies. It was MoneyGram, it was Visa, MasterCard, Western Union. They just talked about stuff like that. Well, here again, this is going to be something similar in the future. So obviously, what are they talking about? It says, what's the impact for having RLUSD on a business sense? It says for businesses, the RLUSD opens up huge opportunities for international payment efficiency. Remittance providers or transfer services in the form of foreign currency can reduce operational costs and provide customers with better money transfers and experience. And centralized exchange can increase trading volume because they're going to need a lot of volume. Or the ability to handle a lot of volume. And with what? Transparency. They need to have trusted stable partners, stable coin partners. Additionally, businesses looking to explore the DeFi ecosystem can easily integrate in the RLUSD for various financial purposes far more efficiently. So ultimately, you guys, the information that we're seeing from the banking and financial landscape, they're changing in Iraq and they're changing in the world, and it's going to be important to know and to be able to arm oneself with this new knowledge for ourselves in the new digital world, so we can see that the evolution or witness the evolution that Iraq is going through with their own digital transformation. And so keep it in mind, keep an open mind with some of the things that I've just mentioned to you, is that is a key component, because right now, as you can see, Iraq is not just going to go from 1310 to having a very different exchange rate, a real effective exchange rate, without having the digital technologies that they're talking about in the world. So this is relatively new to me too, but I can obviously say that I'm starting to get it quite clearly, that it's important. So if you guys enjoy our site at Patreon, our vibrant Discord chat room with Militia Man's chat room, please come on in, enjoy. Be a member for Patreon for a short period of time, get a feel for it and see what you like, and then see if it brings you some value. But we have a lot of people that really enjoy the site, so come on in. We have Samson the News Hound that she's been killing it this last couple of weeks, months, with the amount of information that she brings, the values there. And obviously our team effort, we have Gigi and Greg and Pompey Peter and Petra and many others in the background that are welcoming. So come on in and we'll see you soon. So if you like our content, hit that subscribe button. If you want to hammer it, that'd be great. But also we have Venmo, PayPal, and Zelle for all those donations that do wonders to keep this content going. So I thank you very much. Enjoy your week. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.